Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid preview. This is the preview to Real Madrid against Villarreal. Um, it's actually been it actually feels so weird because we are coming into the final game until the October international break. And it felt like the last couple of games since the last international break up until this point. The last few games have just gone so quickly. Like, we were constantly playing the weekend, then midweek, then the weekend, then we had that one week where, you know, we played Laliga in the midweek, and this past week we had obviously the Champions League match day 2. And yeah, I mean, overall, it does feel kind of quick. But I think that's how football goes when you're genuinely watching your team play, and we're going into another boring 2 weeks again. Surprise, um, and it's gonna feel forever. I'm telling you, the next 2 weeks is gonna feel forever. It's gonna feel like, oh my gosh, this is hell. But look, on the bright side, I don't think. Okay, we're gonna have another one in November, but afterwards, it should be okay. So after Villarreal, we've got Getafe away straight away back from the international break. Then it is Juventus at home, Barcelona at home, and Valencia at home. So three massive home games, right? These are the kind of games you have to be winning, especially El Clasico, because these games will come back to be away games down the line. Because straight after, Real Madrid have 5 away games in a row. Right after these 3 home games, it is Liverpool away at Anfield, right? Then it's Rayo Vallecano away, Elche away 2 weeks after Rayo Vallecano, because that will be then the November break. So basically, ending of the um next stretch of games before the November international break, we're going to be away from home. And then coming back from the November break, we're going to be starting away from home again with Elche, Olympiacos, and Girona away. All 3 away games. But afterwards, again, we head into December, 2 home games, Celta Vigo, Man City. Then in sort of home, away, home. Then we're into the new year, and we've got the Super Copa and things like that. But I'm looking at the next sort of 1 month, 1.5 month. We are going to have, you know, 3 out of the next 4 games after we come back in November that are going to be at home. They're going to be the home games. And that includes a Champions League game against Juventus and El Clasico. That is huge. You must make those games count. And this game against Villarreal is at home, is at the Bernabeu. It's going to have to count as well. It's going to have to. Um, it's our first game in a while. We haven't played in 2 weeks at the Bernabeu since our win against Espanyol. So, look, I really, 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 really hope that we get the win against Villarreal. Um, Depending when you're watching this, but when I'm recording tomorrow or later on today. Um, and yeah, going to the international break. Perhaps I do think it would be very tough to go in top, but who knows? I mean, Barcelona are playing. Um, they are playing Sevilla away, and they are going to go into that game without a couple of players. They do not have. I don't think Rafinha is playing. Jean Garcia is out. I think Fermin and Gavi are out, and I think Ter Stegen's still out. And yeah, Lamine Yamal is apparently out for a couple of weeks as well. So that being said, um, Could Barcelona drop points away in Sevilla? It's possible, but that really um, isn't our business. What we have to do is go out there and do our job. Get the win against Villarreal, and whatever happens in Barcelona, um, in the Barcelona game, it happens, right? But obviously, we're up against Villarreal, and a Villarreal typically actually have done quite well. They're currently third, and look, it's gonna be a tough game. Their last game was the Champions League as well, which they drew 2-2 with Juventus. Before that, they beat Athletic Club 1-0 at home. Before that, Sevilla away, they won 2-1. They beat Osasuna at home. Um, they lost to Tottenham Hotspur away in the Champions League. They lost to Atletico Madrid away, but we did as well. Um, they drew Celta Vigo away. They beat Girona at home. They beat Real Oviedo at home. So look, they've won one away game this season. Their home form is brilliant, but their away form, considering they've played Celta, they've played Atletico Madrid, they've played Sevilla, and they've played one Champions League game. They've got one win, one draw, and two losses. It's not terrible considering. Look, they've played the two games they've lost. Have been against the top teams, but Real Madrid are our top team. So we have to be one of those teams that beat them at home, at our home ground, and just get the job done. Simple as that. But yeah, I mean, they've got a couple of good players. Gerard Moreno has consistently always been a player that likes to score in big games for some reason, but I mean, he might not be the talking point nowadays. I mean, they've got, Mika Tadze, he's a fantastic player. Nicolas Pepe, they've got Tajon Buchanan. I think that's a brilliant signing. Ayoze Perez, he's a very underrated baller in my opinion. They've got Renato Vega is there now. Camboala is also there now. And yeah, I mean overall their whole squad is really really good. But I think look, they're coming to the Bernabeu. Real Madrid have to win this game. Um, yeah, can't really emphasize on that more. But anyways, how would I line up for Real Madrid? Simple. One more game before the international break. Go strong. Go in. Right? What do I mean by that? Go with the best team. I get that you want the likes of Gonzalo Garcia. You want Endrick. Dani Ceballos. David Alaba. These are the kind of players that are squad players. If they're fit, when they're fit, they are good squad players. But, in my opinion, would it be wise starting them? I think Alaba could start if Militao isn't fit fully. I don't know why Ceballos would start in this game apart from bring a bit of control, but who are you going to bench in the midfield? Are you going to drop Bellingham? But you kind of want him to start getting back to full fitness, match sharpness. Arda Güler, apart from the Madrid derby and the one mistake he made. What game was it again? Yikes. It was the Madrid derby, and then was it? Man, I can't remember the game, but was it Levante? But anyways, apart from that, he doesn't really tend to make many mistakes, and like I said before, the odd mistake here and there doesn't determine him as a player. It doesn't overshadow the brilliant stuff he does. The link up he has with Mbappe, that connection, brilliant. So what I'm trying to say here is I don't think Arda Güler is a player that is dropped for no reason. I think he has almost certainly nailed himself a position in the starting 11. And for Bellingham, I think he does too. But he needs to figure out a way whereby the midfield is actually balanced and we don't either go full attacking or we don't control the game. We have to play well, we have to win, but we have to control games. And how we're gonna do that, I don't know. Have I been calling out for a Vitinha? Yes. Have we got him? No. So with what we have in the midfield, we are gonna have to figure out a way, either by bringing in Dani Ceballos in big games, or we are gonna have to get these players to actually learn to control the game. And I know that sounds silly, but it's the truth, right? But from back to front, Courtois starts. It's unfortunate for Lunin because he has not seen any minutes, and until the Copa del Rey starts for Real Madrid, he's probably not gonna see any, and I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. I don't see it. Carreras at left back for me. Last weekend was disastrous for him and Huijsen, but they are still key young players for the future, and they have both been incredible. So I'm not going to let one game, once again, like I said, overshadow the good. They have been brilliant. One game, but you learn from those mistakes, you move on, and you be a better version of yourself, right? Militao, if he's fit. If not, you're going to have to go with Alaba on the left hand side, and then Huijsen moving into the right centre back spot. And then for me, I think Raul Asensio starts at right back. I don't see Fede Valverde at right back. I don't think that's how you get Fede Valverde back to his best. We've heard so many speculations over this week that Fede Valverde has, spoke about openly in regards to people in the media just saying Fede Valverde told Xabi Alonso and, said, I don't want to play. And that is completely BS. That's nonsense. Don't buy into that. Fede Valverde has literally played pretty much the most games, like, out of everyone last season and the season before that. This guy has ran his socks off, quite literally. Okay, this is a man who has played no matter what. I'm pretty sure Real Madrid fans remember, but in general, I hope people remember there was that one season where it was something stupid. He went 50 games or 60 games playing in a row. No one, apart from Real Madrid fans, caught on to that. And then suddenly, he doesn't play 1 or 2 games and people are saying he doesn't want to play for the club. That is absolute crap. But, on the flip side of that, would I play him? I'm not sure right now in the midfield he is doing, too well. I'm going to put it that way. The performance issue, I'm not so sure. The commitment, 100%, this is a player who is going to give his 100%. But does that definitely reflect onto the performance? He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been good either. It has been okay, poor, good, but he hasn't really reached the peak or the bottom. So, I don't know how Xabi Alonso is going to manage that and how he's going to work with Fede Valverde to get back to his best. But I do believe that with Xabi Alonso and what he said in his press conference ahead of this game, that Bellingham and Arda Güler can play together in the midfield and they just have to figure out how to work together. The fact that he has dropped that sort of hint makes me think that they are going to play together, and then you can't take Tchouaméni out because he's the most important piece in the midfield as the holding midfielder. So you have yourself a predicament. Unless, like what I said in one of the previews I done earlier this year, the only way Xabi Alonso can make this work successfully is going to what Carlo Ancelotti did in the 23-24 season, where instead of Rodrigo and Vini Jr. as the up two, he chooses either Rodrigo or Vini next to Mbappe in a front two, Bellingham in behind those two, and then Arda Güler, Tchouaméni, and Fede Valverde as the three midfield behind. That's the only way, because you can't possibly start four midfielders unless you go with a diamond-shaped midfield. And by doing that, Bellingham's game should improve better. Fede Valverde comes in, you still have Arda Güler playing centrally instead of forcing him out to the right-hand side. Mbappe is doing Mbappe. Vini Jr. should be able to have more space roaming out wide because Bellingham is going to be able to hold the central areas. And you also add a physical threat in the penalty box. I do think with the squad of players Xabi Alonso has and what Carlo Ancelotti had, which is very similar, it's gonna be the way you work it. Now, is there other ways that Xabi Alonso can work? Yes, but immediately what I'm thinking to is a diamond-shaped midfield and a front two with Bellingham in behind. That's what I'm thinking. People might disagree, but I think that's the best way to get these players to work. We've seen it before. Last season, it wasn't the same as the season before in terms of the shape of the team. Carlo Ancelotti didn't stick with that diamond midfield. He didn't. That was the season when Real Madrid won the double, the league and the Champions League. And the season after, we went to this 4-3-3 with Bellingham as the attacking mid, with Fede Valverde and Tchouaméni, and Rodrigo on the right, Vini on the left, and it just didn't work. It really didn't work. So, also by going into a diamond midfield, you are taking away one of the attackers who, to be honest, might not help the track back, might not help the press. So I don't know. I'm just giving a suggestion out there, and I think I'm leading a bit too far. But these are kind of things that you have to start to think about, because when you come back from the international break, like I said, you've got Juventus, you've got Barcelona. You are going to have to be flexible, and you're gonna have to adjust your tactics accordingly to your opponent, right? You can't just stick with the same thing every single game. Against Villarreal, we could go with a 4-3-3 approach like you see on screen. But against Barcelona, we might have to go with a diamond midfield. We might have to go with a front two instead of a front three. So who knows? Perhaps that's something that we should have done against Atletico Madrid. Anyways, Raul Asensio for me, right back. Fede Valverde, I think, starts on the bench. I just don't think starting him at right back would maximize his abilities and will make him come back to be a better version of himself, if you know what I'm saying. Then the midfield, like I said, Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Arda Güler. The front line, I think Rodrigo came on against Kairat Almaty. He showed sparks. He was brilliant in the last 20-25 minutes. I genuinely believe that Rodrigo has every single right to hold on to the left-hand side spot and fight for it. At the moment, Vini Jr. has been good. He has been linking up well with Mbappe. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie, but Rodrigo has a point to prove, and he has been showing it glimpses. It's not been consistently, but he hasn't played a full 90 or close to it. So I think a start would give him potentially the opportunity to say, yeah, I'm the main guy here. And then Mbappe, September Player of the Month in La Liga. He's just him. How many goals is that now? 15 this season for club and country. That is number 13 for Real Madrid. Obviously, 8 in La Liga, 5 in the Champions League. And then I thought Mastantuono had a decent game against Kairat Almaty, and he has looked very bright so far this season. So I think potentially he could be locking down the right hand side. So yeah, that is the game. I'm gonna say Real Madrid to win this game 3-0. I'm gonna be a bit more confident. We're going into the international break, so I think if there's ever gonna be a time I can be confident, it'll be now. But yeah, let me know what thoughts are down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.